Hi there, this is Jyrki from the 69 Eyes, and you are watching The Angel of Metal.
Guys, this is the Angel of Metal here with one of Helsinki's vampires, Jyrki from the 69 Eyes. Hello.
Good evening.
How are you?
Excellent, excellent. I'm super happy to be here in Manchester, and you know, we're touring here a couple of more days, touring with Temptation, playing here tonight, and it's all good.
Awesome, cool. You're on tour at the moment, but in the past you've toured quite heavily. You know, you've gone to Tokyo, Europe, even America. Do you think that's helped you with heighten the profile of the band?
This year only we played over 120 shows around the world, and that's something how we have planned everything during the last 2 years. You know, we have 2 albums out, first Devils and now Angels this year, and between them we have toured and toured and toured, and now this year Angels came out, and we have played, you know, like I said, over 120 shows. So we have a pretty cool management team behind us, and they're planning all this, so it's interesting to see where this all will lead. You know, we're really like really working our asses off for touring and then creating the new album and so on. So it's interesting, and actually like I mentioned, these 2 records, we have taken always a step to a next level after each album. You know, it doesn't have to be a like high leak. It's just like it can be a small step, but still, you know, our curse is rising, you know, and the Helsinki vampires are like spreading their wings all over.
Awesome. But I've also read somewhere else that you enjoy travelling as a hobby. What attracts you most to travelling? Is it the landscapes or the architecture or the cultures?
I think everything, you know. It's like as we've been touring so much recently over the last years, actually last decade, I could say that, but you know, mainly this, if you talk only about this year, I've been about 3 weekends at home, but honestly, to tell you the truth, I've been like thinking of where to travel next. It's sort of like addiction. Seriously, as you are on the move all the time, it sort of turns into addiction, and when we are touring with the band, I'm planning to go somewhere else, and so on and so on. So actually this tour here in the UK is like the very last tour we do this year, and there's no shows planned before Christmas and so on, but I'm actually going to travel like for Christmas and actually for New Year's Eve somewhere else, just by myself. So it's like an addiction. But on the other hand, you know, like it's like we're a rock and roll band and we're a traveling band, and that's the same thing, and you know, it's the best way of life I can imagine.
Cool. As you mentioned before, your newest album is called Angels. You've chose, I would say, a different sort of aspect on the singing. You've performed it more as you would live. Why this choice? You know, because you used to use experimental deep vocals. Why this choice?
Well, you know, as you will see us tonight perform those songs live, and a bunch of other songs, you know, it's like I think the essence of the 69 Eyes is like you can experience us as a live sweating rock and roll band, you know. It's not only something, our music and the whole concept of the 69 Eyes it's something that we only create in the studio. There's a lot of bands, a lot of music, and a lot of artists who you know, create their music and art in the studio only, but never play live. We are doing both, and I think, you know, like you know, I think we are at our best live, and especially right now after playing so much, I think, you know, we are at best ever we've been. So, you know, it's like it's like, you know, you can enjoy our records, but if you dare, please come to see us live. We bite, but, you know, and let me tell you actually that blood is the new black. That's how it goes.
So are you trying to say the 69 Nights are going back to basics in a way?
Couple of records for us, like for instance Paris Kills was pretty heavily influenced by synthesizers and 80s pop vibes, and more away from that, through Devils to Angels, we have get, you know, rid of most of those keyboards and synthesizers. So sort of I'm thinking of us turning more into organic and raw edge power chord rock and roll band in what comes to the upcoming records. But I still have to think about it, because of course we create beautiful melodies and haunting atmospheres in our songs, but on the other hand I'm actually really anxious to rock, and I'm anxious to create songs with the fist, you know, raising anthems. So I still have to think about it yet, so I don't, you know, I don't want to shock any fans more. But it's always like that when you, for instance, when you have a new album out, the diehard fans are like, oh well, this wasn't that good that we expected. Then you do next record, and then the fans are like, hey, the previous one was like a classic. Why didn't you do a similar record? And more far you go from that record, then you have, like, let's say 3 records after that out. The one that they were disappointed at first, that's the ultimate album, they say, and so on. So sometimes, even though it's we have great fans and we have loyal fans, and we're doing this because of us, of course, first, but also for fans who are one of us anyways. So they're sometimes a little bit slow to wake up or get what we are creating, but you know, still, you know, I'm pretty much now thinking of like this really raw edge, more guitars, less keyboards, kind of
back to rock
thing coming back. Yeah, well, you know, Angels is pretty much like a like gothic glam rock album. So there is like really simple rock and roll there, but there's also glam rock and gothic melodic stuff there. So I think, you know, that's a mixture of all those. So I think, you know, we could take some step further next time.
Absolutely. You're extremely successful in Finland, your home country.